Welcome back. Now if you saw my last video, you already know where this hive came from, coming from my neighbor's wall. If you haven't seen that video yet, you might want to check it out. But you also probably would know that I lost the queen out of this hive when transferring it to these boxes up at my back field here. So I need to look through this hive, make sure they made a new queen. I've checked on them a few times and they seem to be doing very well. I do need to open up their entrance better, so let's get to it. A little advice would be when you're washing your bee suit, make sure your leather gloves aren't with them, because my normal gloves I wear went through the washer and they shrunk up so much I don't even think a little kid can wear them. So I got these new ones and we'll see how they do. So first thing I want to do is take my entrance reducer out here. Ooh. So we'll see how the hive looks inside. But you can see there's a lot of little like larvae growing in here, so hopefully they didn't bring in any wax moths or anything like that. But we're gonna open it up so we have the bigger entrance here for them to go in and out. Now I'll do this because the other day I've seen a lot of guard bees on this hive, which means the hive should still be in there and doing fine. But I have seen where the bees are kinda all crawling over each other trying to get in and out, and it's a very tight space. So I just want to open that up to make sure there's plenty of room for the bees to move in and out of the hive. Whoops, there goes the top with it. I can hear a lot of bees, but I'm not seeing any on the top here. So probably most of the hive has moved down lower here. So we just want to do a very quick check, get an idea if this hive is going to make it or not. The other thing I can do is I could take this top box off. That will just give the bees less room to work, which I might need to do if it looks like they're being robbed, which might be. Alright, so they do have some honey in here. It looks like they kind of ate through this rubber band here, because they're starting to connect the comb to the frames. They are filling it up with honey, so that's a good sign. It means they haven't abandoned this hive, but it also means we're not getting robber bees in here stealing everything. Now, a lot of this was pretty full of honey, so it looks like they have been consuming some of the honey here, which is not the best sign, because at this point they should be starting to prepare for winter. Basically with honeybees, end of July, beginning of August, you're really starting to think about winter. Something else I wanna, oh, they have a little capped honey there. That might have been from before. Something else I want to point out is I've gotten several comments on a previous video about how much smoke I use. Now I can tell that those people haven't seen my more recent videos, because I have started to use far less smoke, because I do find it's better on the bees, it seems like it stresses them out far less. And it's much easier to find my queen too, because she's not flooding out of the hive. So I kind of just use a little bit in the front there, a little bit on top, and then for the most part I won't use much smoke throughout the hive after that. Just enough to kind of get the bees to consume some honey. That will just kind of slow them down, keep them from getting too angry. And that's about it. So a lot of this comb on top did have honey, so they might have been dealing with some robber bees. But without the queen, they could have been just trying to protect the hive and stay in the hive, because I do think I probably lost some foragers that may have swarmed out. And then of course my nurse bees will stay with the hive here. So sadly, out of this whole experience, it doesn't look like I got a new hive. So I will say, I think there's some people that complain about beekeepers charging money to pull bees from your house. But that whole fiasco took up my entire day to pull this hive from my neighbor's house, which I did do it for free because it was my first time doing something like that, and I figured it would make a good video and he let me record. But in the end, besides the video, I didn't get too much out of it. Does look like there is a bit of honey in this comb here. There is some newer comb there. But it's not looking too ideal. Looks like this hive was ransacked by other honeybees, and a lot of their honey was stolen out. So there are a lot of bees in here. So it's kind of hard to tell if this hive is completely dead or not. Looks pretty dead. So, although that I think this hive was hit pretty hard, there's actually, let's see, on this side here, you can't really see it on the camera, but there's actually some larvae in there, and it's very hard to tell on this very dark comb, but it looks like there might be some eggs in there. So there's definitely some younger larvae in there, and I think I see a few specks that looks like eggs. So that means there is a queen in this hive. It's been about 2.5 weeks now since I brought this hive home. So it's still pretty early for them to have made their own queen. But the fact that I did find some brood and what looked to be newer eggs in there shows me that I may have a queen. Now the other thing it could be is it could be old brood that when they abandoned this hive, because this hive is pretty well gutted of all the honey that was in it. They're definitely low on food. I'll have to bring them up some sugar water. But that larvae I found, what it could be is it could be old brood that basically when the robber bees came and gutted this hive, they could have left the brood there. They will often eat it or consume it because it's extra protein for them. And in my nook over there that they did that, they actually did eat and consume all of the brood that was in it. So maybe they didn't just get to it yet, but the fact that I am seeing some larvae, and I'm pretty sure I see some eggs in that other frame, There's also some more larvae on this one here. I think there may be a queen in here. But I won't know until I either find her or they really start laying more eggs, so I know for sure there's been change in the hive. So this frame here, I always seem to do this late in the evening when the sun is not the best time for recording. But in this frame here, there is actually brand new eggs that I can see. Very small little eggs. So there has to be a queen in here somewhere, because even after the queen died, the nurse bees should have raised those eggs up at least a little bit. So the fact that I'm seeing brand new eggs towards the bottom, I think that's a good sign that there's a very good chance there is a queen in here. So the other thing that it could be, there could be a laying worker bee in here somewhere. So I'm not sure. This is all very new to me. So there's not much activity on this frame either. I'll put that back in there. Basically, it was this frame right here. Has some newer, which maybe they aren't new, but small eggs on it. That I kind of doubt the nurse bees would have just abandoned, but maybe they did. But for now, I think I'm going to have to put this back together and leave it for a week or two and give it another look and see how they're doing. But I will also treat this hive in case it does work out. I don't want to just completely abandon it quite yet. It does look like there's some hope. Now, something else that could have happened, you know, this hive definitely looks like it was robbed from. So what could have happened is they could have been robbed, and then a swarm could have moved into this hive as well. So it might have been a wild swarm I caught in this. I'm not sure. But since this hive is very weak at this point, what I'm going to do, I want to start pulling the frames from my top box here and just kind of shaking the bees to this lower box. And then I'll put this top box off to the side for now, because basically these bees are so set back that they'll have trouble heating and filling both boxes. So what I need to do is just kind of combine them here. Oops, dropped a little bit of comb off that. There's the queen cell there. Looks like there's possibly a queen cell down here. There is quite a bit of honey in this one, so gonna kind of mix and match. This is just a plastic frame I threw in there. I'm gonna put this one down in the bottom box. Come on. This may be a little difficult. There we go. These are kind of wonky. Yeah, this one is completely cleaned out, so we'll just drop them down there. What we got right here? This comb is cleaned out. Comb is pretty much cleaned out. Alright, thank you for watching, and if you like my content, if you find it helpful and you learn something new, or you just enjoy watching it, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below and ring that bell so you get notified when I put out new content. It really helps me out and helps spread my videos across YouTube. And hopefully as I go, I'll be able to teach people a lot more about bees and raise awareness on them, as well as you guys getting to enjoy and see me raise my apiary and hopefully get into bees yourself. So catch you next time. Pew!